Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, Sukhi Hontu. Very good morning to all of you who have just joined us. I can see that many of you have really joined us at this hour. Well, that's great. And just to inform those who are joining us for the very first time, we prepared this opening video for all our online Dharma events. This segment, we call it the Voices of Bloops. In this segment, we feature all the young, talented songwriters or composers or singers of Buddhist songs. The groups, all the we let them tell us about themselves, about the group, about the song, what are their inspirations regarding the song and the group they are involved in. In this way, the segment will also be able to publicize Buddhist songs as wide as possible. And this serves as an encouragement to many young Buddhist songs. I'd like to introduce you this morning and another lady who are very active in her group. Her name is Lim Ka Yin. Lim Ka Yin is one of the singers at iGEMS. Welcome, Sister Ka Yin. How are you this morning?
Thank you, Brother Chan. I'm very good this morning. Thank you for inviting me today to this program.
Thank you for spending the time with us to do this interview. Oh, yes, I heard that you're one of the newer members in the group. Perhaps you can tell us more. How do you get involved in iGEMS? Over to you.
Thank you, Brother Chan. So I first heard of iGEMS during my uni days when I joined the Inkova Dharma Camp. If you don't know what is Inkova Dharma Camp is named as Inter-College Varsity. It's a Buddhist camp organized by youth under Buddhist Gems Fellowship, BGF. And I've been actively involved in Inkova for about 5 to 6 years, starting out as a participant, then later on becoming a part of the organizing committee. So before Inkova, I was from a Mahayana Buddhist background. So the hymns that I've listened to back then were usually of a more traditional tune. So when I was exposed to the songs from iGEMS, which are more vibrant and pop sounding, I was instantly captivated. I was like, wow, I've never heard of this kind of Buddhist music before. So as they are so different from other Buddhist hymns which I've heard before previously. So back then, my sister MJ and I were frequently invited to conduct hymn sharing sessions at Inkova camps with her on the guitar and me as the vocalist. So every time we will be very excited to share iGEM's music as well as other modern Buddhist music in other languages, like in Mandarin or in Bahasa Indonesia, with different music arrangements, which will really appeal to the youth. So actually, before I joined iGEMS officially, I had a chance to join iGEMS when the first recruitment audition was held. I suppose it's about 5 to 6 years ago. So unfortunately, that time I couldn't make it for the audition as I was working on call that day. So 6 years later, one afternoon, I received a call from Brother Daniel, and here I am performing and sharing Buddhist music with this amazing group of Kayana Mitras.
Wow, that was great. what I pick up from you just now, you mentioned the songs from iGEMs are more vibrant and pop sounding, and this different music arrangement will appeal to the youth. Wow, that is going in the right direction. I'm happy to hear that. So now in the iGEMs, what is your role then now?
I'm one of the vocalists in the band and also taking the lead of vocals as well as backing vocals for various songs. Besides that, I'm also a performance coordinator in the team. The role involves planning and coordinating events for outreach. So, since last year, we have conducted about 2 outreach programs uh, virtually during MCO and the CMCO period. One of it is last year during RISA, we did a virtual performance via Facebook Live as part of the BGF eRISA program. And another one was recently in early January. We performed virtually for the Buddhist Society of the Penang Teachers Training College via Zoom. So it was a very different experience performing in front of a live audience compared to an online audience. But in light of the current situation, we are definitely looking into reaching out to our audience through virtual platforms in a more interactive and engaging way. If you are interested to listen to our songs, you could go to YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Music to have a look and have a listen to it. So please do check it out and share them on your social media to your friends and family.
With your active participation, I'm sure many out there will look towards to hear your songs. And I'm also very pleased that you have participated to those online events which is so important to the Buddhist community, just like your e-visa program. And I hope to see you guys again on the next e-visa. So with that, I would like to say is that thank you for that sharing. So today, any song you would like to introduce to us?
Yep. So the following song that I would like to share today is from our third album and latest album, Love Will See You Home, which I had the honor to perform as the soloist of the song. So this song is called Now Is the Time, Just Let It Be, written by our brother Daniel Kwok. And whenever I'm singing this song, there is a certain calmness in my mind, which reminds me of the calmness that I experienced during meditation. So this song opens with the phrase, the answer is not out there, it's not in the past or days to come. I find it useful to repeat this phrase to myself at the start of my meditation, and it reminds me to be in the present, and the answer can be found from within. And there's another line in the lyrics which goes like this: feel the pain, it changes slowly. My mind is kind. Now is the time. Just let it be. So everyone has pain and suffering in different forms. So this line reminds me that pain and suffering is impermanent and it's not actually me and it is not mine to personalize it. So if we watch it kindly and gently and accept that there's pain, but it's not I am in pain and not fighting it, then I suppose we would be suffering lesser from it and we'll be able to move on easily from it. So I hope you all could enjoy the song and able to gain some insights after listening to this song and be inspired to meditate to experience the joy of letting go. For now is the time. Sadhu.
I must say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu to this sister. you know, we are able to receive the message of the Dharma. It is so apt for us that we have to be constantly reminded of the teachings of the Dharma. Brothers and sisters, help me to say thank you to our sister here who have joined us in this segment, Voices of Blooms, and she's sharing the inspiration, and she's also sharing the Dharma message in this song. And with that, sister, thank you very much for joining us, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
The answer isn't out there, it's not in the past or days to come. Ooh, disappear into the flow. Ooh, disappear and watch it go. It may be inconvenient to face my pain as they come. Ooh, disappear into the flow. Ooh, disappear and watch it go. Feel the pain, it changes slowly. My mind is kind now.
Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters in Dhamma. A very good morning to everyone. Nice to see you again on another online Sundays Buddha Puja service. And I always like to thank those who have joined us earlier in the morning at 9:15 a.m. for the Voices of Blooms. I am sure you will enjoy the music. Following the lyrics, is it a very beautiful song with the Dharma messages. Please help me to thank the IGEM of Sister Kayin. Well done, well done. Happy to see you all again. Well, good. Let's continue with our program. And I hope that you are sharing this morning's program with your family and friends. Watch it together. Thank you. And for those who like to download the songs, go to their Facebook, iTunes Facebook, and Spotify. In this, welcome up to you all again. And just a reminder is that during the Buddha Puja service, remember to have a calm mind. And please prepare a candle or oil lamp to offer at the altar. Wait for the announcement to do it together, of lighting of the candle together with Venerable Sumangala. To those of you who are joining us, just joining us or joining us for the very first time, welcome to Subang Jaya Buddhist Association 46 online Sundays Buddha Puja service. In fact, we organize this weekly online puja service in order to give to our Buddhist devotees near and far to continue with our Buddhist faith and practices during this COVID-19 pandemic period. As all the centers, all societies are closed. Brothers and sisters, let us prepare ourselves by sitting comfortably, relax our bodies, and compose our mind. Let go of thinking about the past and future. Be at the present moment. I shall hand over to our puja leader, Sister Anne. Over to you, Sister Anne.
Thank you, Brother Chuan. Good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Namo Buddhaya. Let us begin with our Sunday Buddha Puja service. With respect, may we invite Venerable Sumangala to make the offerings to the Buddha. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, you may also light your candles or oil lamps. For the other devotees, let us place our palms together in Anjali position and contemplate mindfully. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. 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 Namo Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, let us pay homage to the Triple Gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Buddhang Pujemi, Dhammang Pujemi, Sanghang Pujemi. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, we shall invite Venerable Sumangala to administer to us the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts.
So dear devotees, let us compose our mind to connect our heart to the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. Namakara, salutation to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Tisarana, the 3 refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dadiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dadiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dadiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami.
Tatiyampi sangham saranang gacchami.
Panchasila, the 5 precepts. Panatipata veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Adinadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kamesu micchācara veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Kamesu micchācara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musawada veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadam samadhiyami.
Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami. Imani pancha sikkhapadani samadhiyami.
Apamadena sampadeta
Ama-aye. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Now we shall reflect on the qualities of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Buddhanusati, recollection of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava araham samma sambuddho Vichacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manussanam buddho bhagavati. Dhammanusati, recollection of the Dhamma. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko ehipassiko opanaiko paccattam veritabbo vinyahiti. Sanghanusati, recollection of the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Ujupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho. Yadidang chattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho. Ahuneyo, pahuneyo, dakineyo, anjali karaniyo, anuttarang punya ketang lokasati. Chetya Vandana, salutation to the holy shrine. Vandami cetiyang sabbang sabbatane supatititang saririka dhatu mahabodhing buddha rupang sakalang sada. Bodhi Vandana, salutation to the Bodhi tree. Yasamole nisinnova sabbari vijayam akka patto sabbanyutang satta vande tang bodhipadapam. Ime ete mahabodhi lokanatena pujita aham pitena massami bodhi raja namatute. Padipa Puja, offering of light. Ganasarappaditena dipena tamadangsina tiloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudam. Dupa Puja, offering of incense. Ganda sambara yuttena dupenahang sugandhina pujaye pujaniyantang puja bhajanamuttamam. Pupa Puja, offering of flowers. Vanna gandha gunopetang etang kusuma santating pujayami munindasa siripada saroruhe pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena chohotu mokkang Uppang milayati yataidam me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavang. Paniya Puja, offering of water. Adivase tu no bante paniyang parikapitang anukampang upadaya patiganhatu muttamang. Asking for forgiveness. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayam kamame bante Buripanya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang Jayam kamame dhamma sandittika kalika kayena vacha chittena kamadena maya katang Jayam kamame sangha suparipanna anuttara sadhu sadhu sadhu.
Namo Buddhaya and good morning, Ayah, brothers and sisters in the Dharma. This morning, we are very pleased to have Venerable Sumankala Bhikkhuni to be with us again for the Sunday Buddha Puja. Venerable Sumankala will be giving a Dharma talk this morning on the rare things in the world that you do not know. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, if you have any questions pertaining to this talk, you may type your questions in the comment section. We shall then read out your questions after the Dharma talk for Venerable Sumankala to answer your question. Due to time constraint, we may not be able to answer all. Please allow me to first introduce Venerable Sumankala Bhikkhuni. Venerable Sumankala renounced her corporate life as a branch manager and become an anakarika since 2005 under the spiritual guidance of Venerable Mahinda Thera and Venerable Natimale Sumeto Manio. Subsequently, she took her papaja or going forth in 2008, and in 2011, she obtained her MA in Buddhist philosophy from the International Buddhist College, Thailand. In 2015, she took her higher ordination or Upasampata of a bhikkhuni with Venerable Santini Theri, her Pawatini, and Venerable Sri Sanankara Mahathera, the chief judiciary monk of Malaysia, as a Upajaya. Currently, Venerable Sumankala is the abbess of Arya Vihara and also the advisor of Gautami Vihari Society. She gives regular Dharma talks in various Buddhist societies and conferences, conduct meditation retreats in Malaysia and abroad. She also conducts Dharma education for family unity design as an ARK program, family, youth, and a children camp, metta and mindfulness workshop, compassion in action projects, and leads in pilgrimage to Buddhist holy sites, and giving counseling, and etc., etc. She has pioneered the Arya monastic and lady training program, one of the first Theravada Bhikkhuni and lady development program to nurture potential noble practitioner and Bhikkhuni Sangha in Malaysia. At present, she is also leading a project team and invite all supporters to help build the new Arya Vihara at the Kuasa Damansara, the first Malaysian Theravada Bhikkhuni Nunnery and Dharma Training Center for the well-being, happiness, and benefit of the many. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, with deep respect, now let us put our palms together to invite Venerable Sumankala to give us the Dharma talk on the rare things in the world that you do not know. Ayah.
Sakyotu, thank you, Brother Chim. Namo Buddhaya to all devotees. And you all be well, happy, and safe. Today, again, is a very sunny, good day for us to be seated and to be able to come to listen to this Dhamma talk. And the topic is the rare things in the world, yeah? And which we may think we know, but some we may not know. So I'd like to share with you, yeah, in life, we always look outside, yeah, to find the rare things that we think will be exciting for us, or for life, or for our essential pleasure. So let's look through first before we come to the real rare things in the world that we may not know that is so important in our life. So first, we go to the next slide. Yeah, we love to find rare scenery, rare colors to entice our eyes, and to look for all beautiful things. Next. We also love to see colors, beauty, all the rare flowers that we never see. So beautiful and so exotic that we love to look forward to find them. Next. We also like to see all the rare creatures in the world. Yeah, there are millions and trillions of them, and we have not really seen. These are only just a few that we have not really seen, but there are even more rare things in the world that people are keep seeking to look, to find, and to search for. Next. Have you seen all this? A very rare species, yeah, with 2 heads, and you name it, but in whatever creatures, they are also rare species, yeah. And is this the rare things that we are looking forward to? Next. Now this, wow, rare food, rare taste. These are where the humans, go to the extreme of finding, the kind of food, the kind of taste that they love to seek for, and without knowing some of the complications and consequences. Yeah. Next. Now we have all the rare technology, yeah, that even human are making humanoid to replace human. So humanity will become very rare with all the rare technology that comes up. And one day, when human is not mindful, yeah, then human become robot and robot become human. In a way of the reality is changing, yeah. Next. Have you seen a human with 2 heads, 1 body? Although it's rare, this is a very rare human. It exists in our world, and they are still living, and they are still walking around, performing whatever a human should perform. Yeah. So their mother and father allowed them to not to be separated and to live as a very rare person, but they are human too. So we have Abby and Brittany, 2 heads, 2 hands, and 2 legs, meaning 2 heads with 1 body. All right, and they have to live coordinating half. Yeah, one on one side. Abby is on the left, using the right hand and the right leg, and Brittany is controlling the left hand with the left leg. Interestingly, they have the 2 sets of hearts, 2 sets of lungs, but 1 liver. Yeah, and then below the navel is 1 system, same system, and their coccyx, their spinal cord also separate but joined at the coccyx. So these are very rare human. Maybe you have not seen, but there exists such human in the world, and it's a very rare life that their parents treasure. So they don't separate them. So they allow them to live, as human. Next. This is also very rare that we see that knowing the rare lifespan, to choose the rare way of life to fulfill the purpose of life. So it's rare to many people, but it is something sort of when a person is seeking for peace and freedom from the cycle of bondage. Next. Now, what is truly rare in the world? All those things that we have seen, go through the kind of lifespan, a span of life in a very short time. But what is truly rare? we should explore today in this talk. Yeah, there are totally about 8 things that are rare in the world according to the Buddha. Yeah, the first thing is the appearance of the Buddha, which is rare. The second thing is the appearance of the Dhamma, yeah, which is rare. And the third thing is about the rare birth of a human, yeah. And the fourth thing is the rarity of. Third is the human life, to be born as a human. Fourth is the right opportunity, yeah, for spirituality. That is also very rare. And the fifth, yeah, is it is also rare to listen to the noble Dhamma. And the sixth, and is also rare, the arising of the noble Sangha. 7 is also rare, the arising of noble and wholesome people. And 8 is also rare, to have people who do good deeds, kindness, and also people who appreciate and return that kindness and wholesomeness. So these are the 8 things that actually are very rare in the world. Yeah. Next. So first we'll discuss on the appearance of the Buddha. Yeah. So we know that we just celebrate our Vesak. Yeah. And according to the Theravada tradition, these are the year 2565 years, yeah, after the Maha Parinibbana of the Buddha. So it is only about this time that we are still in the era of the Buddha. Yeah. So next slide. So just a bit of introduction. Yeah, we know that 2,565 years ago, in this era that we are in, that this person by the name of Siddhartha Gautama, born in 623 BCE, yeah, at the prime of youth and life, yeah, Siddhartha Gautama renounced the luxuries of the world, in search of peace and freedom, the supreme security from bondage. And resolute in his spiritual journey, after 6 years of striving and by cultivation of mind with direct knowledge, he is awakened to the supreme truth, Dhamma, hence referred to as the Buddha, the awakened one. So the awakened one is one who is, yeah, same, traveling like us, from darkness of ignorance to light of wisdom. And the Buddha has having the knowledge, yeah, not only the knowledge, means completely, yeah, know the way, what is the Dhamma, and how the cause of this can be arisen, and then, you know, how we can end the cause of suffering, and the way, the path to lead to end the suffering. Means a total package, yeah, of how we can be secure in our journey, in our quest for peace and the total freedom from bondage. So the Buddha, having attained enlightenment, yeah, spent 45 years teaching the supreme Dhamma as a human, yeah, and established the Sangha, Bhikkhu monk and Bhikkhu nun orders, and lay male and female community of practitioners, until his great passing in 543 BC for the good and well-being of all beings. So today is 2,565 anniversary of his great passing into final Nibbana, and this Buddha Dhamma as a noble way of life continue to be sought for peace and liberation. So we should understand how rare it is to have such a person who is born as a human. The Buddha is born as a human, get enlightened as a human, and pass into Parinibbana as a human. Next. So what did the Buddha realize during enlightenment, yeah? And why is it so rare? Because most of the commoners, our life, we are busy with many things in life, yeah? And we will ask certain questions about life, but we have never really sat down to really ponder and to really find ways and practice the way to that freedom. Yeah. So what did the Buddha realize during enlightenment is the first knowledge, yeah, that he sees directly that all beings, yeah, they live, yeah, from one life to another life, and they went through, yeah, each of them went through. This is especially when the Buddha sees his own life, yeah, from one life to another life, he went through immeasurable and countless births and deaths in the cycle of samsara. So, I mean, he's not only seeing one life, 2 life, 10 life, 100 life, or 1,000 life, or 100,000 life, or 1 million life, but uncountable life, life to life, yeah, birth and death. And when we say birth and death, meaning, you know, you have birth, then you age, then you get sick, and then die. So throughout the span of life, the Buddha also can recall very detailed what he do, what, you know, what happened, where he was born, what name he has, and from one parent to another parent, and from one life to another life. Yeah. So beginningless, the Buddha say, yeah? It goes on and on, birth and death. Yeah. Second, the second knowledge, the next slide. The Buddha also, through direct knowledge, see the Dhamma of that in this samsara journey, yeah, in our life, yeah, that repetition and the cycle of our struggling or suffering depend on one's unwholesome and wholesome actions. And how this action is seen is actually through our thoughts action, speech action, and bodily actions. And because of this, beings continue to evolve from one realm to another. There are 5 different realms of existence according to the Buddha, which is heaven, heavenly being, human, yeah, then hungry ghosts, animals, and hell. Yeah, so there are many different realms in the heaven. Yeah, you have Kamaloka, which is based on sense pleasure, and the 6 realms of heaven are like that. And above that, they are Rupa Loka. Yeah, they have 16 of them, and Arupa Loka, there are 4 of them. For human, we know only 1, hungry ghosts, and then we have animal realms and hell realm. So the Buddha can see through his divine eye, through the direct knowledge of this particular Dhamma, that all beings, yeah, go not only life to life in the samsaric cycle, but how they arise in one particular realm and how they cease from the realm with the kind of lifespan and with the kind of food that they have, with that kind of birth and different experience that they went through. Yeah, and the summary is that it is due to their karma, cause and effect of their actions, whether it's unwholesome or wholesome, that they end up in different realms. And again, they go round and round. And here, I think is a very important discovery too, that we know that heaven or hell is not permanent. Not like people say that, you know, forever and ever, happy ever. Yeah. So here the Buddha tells us that heaven is not forever, hell too not forever. Yeah. But the importance of our actions, our thought action, speech action, and bodily action. So this knowledge the Buddha actually discovered during his enlightenment. And the third knowledge, so the next one, next slide. So therefore, you know, it's important for us to understand the cause and effect of things and the condition, and be mindful of what one think, say, and do. So action is my inheritance. I'm the heir of my actions, born out of my action, related to my actions. Action is my refuge. So whatever action that one person perform, good or bad, to that they are the heir. Next. So again, with direct knowledge, the Buddha see the Dhamma, and this is the important discovery, yeah, that the Buddha has discovered beyond the teachers of that time, and the final ultimate truth that leads to the total freedom from the bondage. Yeah, because doing good and bad still in the samsaric cycle, and it is through this third knowledge, the Buddha see that what condition the mass of suffering that beings go through is due to ignorance. So the ignorance, because of ignorance, that's why the condition, the formation, the karma formation, the volitional action, and this has 12 links altogether. And of course, today we don't have much time to talk about the detail, but suffice enough to know that ignorance is due to ignorance of the idea of having a self, and illusion that it conditions karma formations. And because of that, at the end, it leads to craving, clinging, becoming, then birth take place, and when birth takes place, aging, sickness, and death take place. And then the cycle goes on and on. And to this, the Buddha also found a way. It is through the total and final cessation of ignorance, karma formation cease. It is through our purification of mind, the knowledge to the contemplation, and there are methods of and ways and means that the Buddha taught by the Mahasatipatthana Sutta to how we can end the entire mass of suffering, the samsara cycle. Right? Next. So the Buddha discovered that all conditional phenomena arise and cease. They are all dependent or originated. So it is not one cause or self-cause, meaning a creator that caused it, but it is due to the dependent origination. And the characteristic of all phenomena is they are all impermanent, unsatisfactory, and insubstantial. They are non-self. Means there's no one cause that create them or one self that actually control them. Next. So the Buddha realized, due to this knowledge, direct knowledge, and the Buddha realized that these are the things that can help to end the cycle of the suffering, a cycle of struggling or unhappiness, unsatisfactoriness. And due to this direct knowledge and the confidence and the realization, the Buddha has an unshakable mind. Means the mind is delivered. No more craving, no more attachment to anything. And because of that, there's no more birth. So when birth is ended, it ends aging, sickness, death, sorrow, and pains. So there's no further re-becoming. And with that, then the Buddha said, what has to be done? It's been done. So this is next. So indeed, this is the supreme security, the Buddha said. If there are things that we are searching, this will be the one. So it's a supreme security and the end of all cycle of struggling and suffering and cooling off. And that is what is called Nibbana. All right. So next. So during this enlightenment, that's why then, after that, he referred to himself, the Buddha, is awakened. He is awakened to the truth, to the supreme truth, supreme bliss and peace, supreme freedom. So indeed, for a person to reach to that level is very rare. So we are all very fortunate in our time. In our time is 2,565 years ago. There arose in the world the Buddha, the awakened one. And it's very rare to have such a person who realized this state of mind and to compassionately bring this Dhamma to all of us. So the Buddha is the unrivaled, excellent one, excellent in a way that he is complete in his knowledge, in his conduct, and in his insight into the truth. And the Buddha is the knower. So not only he knows about the realm of the human, but he also knows the realm beyond our eyes. Yeah, and all the laws of existence, yeah, and the capacity of human mind is so excellent, yeah, that it can be developed to the higher state. We know that even though Einstein is so praised for his scientific discovery, yeah, but yet he said, we underuse our mind, yeah, and so maybe we underuse it because we seek for the wrong, rare things in the world. But when we are able to open up our mind to seek what is able to be attained, yeah, then this is where the mind opens up for vast of the proper knowledge, yeah, to help us to find that true freedom, that supreme truth of peace, yeah, and liberation. So the Buddha is the knower of the three worlds. The world of the sensual pleasure means all the five realms, and then also the world of the rupa loka, yeah, form world, and also arupa loka, formless world, yeah. So these may be things like energy that we do not know. We name it as energy or particle or atom or all those kind of things. But beyond that, yeah, the kind of existence, yeah, from different realms of existence. The Buddha also is the giver and bringer of the excellent sublime truth. Yeah, in the world, we know that the Buddha's teaching, yeah, is compiled. Now we can access it through English, through internet, translation of it, the Tipitaka. And earlier, of course, it's called the Buddha Dhamma, the Dhamma Vinaya. Yeah, so this is a very huge corpus of recorded teaching of the Buddha. And we can see that most of the suttas are in line in how a person or a human can awaken themselves to the supreme truth and to the supreme freedom from bondage. So the Buddha, again, we say is a very rare occurrence in our time, and it's just 2,565 years, and we're very fortunate. Yeah, in the past, we can see that the arrival of this teaching, it can be ups and downs too. Like in India, during the Buddha's time, it was a glory, yeah, to see the Buddha personally. But now we can see even after 1280, the whole Buddha teaching, yeah, in India was lost, yeah, for a few hundred years, until probably about last 100 years. All these places are discovered again by the archaeologists and by those Sangha members to maintain and to bring about these places for people to come to know, yeah, the Buddha's holy sites, to connect and to realize that it is possible. Yeah, for me, it's also an experience because in the past I used to have this idea of, there must be a creator in the world, or else how we become, yeah, what we are now. At that time, yes, in our mind, we always think that way. Even among the Buddhists, yeah, still we have this kind of thoughts because all other religions, they have a creator God, yeah, and the Buddhists, sometimes we may mistakenly think that the Buddha is also our creator for us, yeah, but under the name, the banner of Buddhists. But to think that way is actually to have a wrong view, yeah, of what the Buddha is. So the Buddha, to me, at a time when I went for the pilgrimage, yeah, even the Buddha also mentioned before when Ananda said, in future, how would people come to pay reverence, yeah, to the Buddha? And the Buddha say they can actually come to the four holy sites, which is in the Bodh where he attained enlightenment, in the Sanath, where he first turned the wheel of Dhamma, and in Kusinara, his great passing, the Mahaparinibbana, and his birthplace, which is in Lumbini. Yeah? So when I went to the Bodh when I stand in front and look to the stupa and the Bodhi tree, suddenly this thought arises in me. Suddenly I realized the Buddha is so down to earth, and he actually was on earth before, thrived on earth as a human, and he sat under the Bodhi tree and he meditated, and he finally, through that meditation, to the investigation, and to the cultivation of the mind to the highest, that he attained the knowledge, and he attained the supreme freedom from that bondage. And then only I realized, the Buddha is so down to earth. If the Buddha can actually practice and develop his mind accordingly to the Dhamma, then and attain Nibbana, then we as a human, we too can be able to realize that as the Buddha showed us the way. So, and I've suddenly the thought of that the Buddha as a creator is totally gone. And now I know that the Buddha is born into this world, enlightened as a human too, and also when he passed into Mahaparinibbana, he was also a human form that have to lay down the body. But what is important is the development of the mind to the highest according to the Buddha. And the goal is Nibbana. So we can be free from the cycle of samsara. So this is indeed a very rare occurrence in our time for the arising of a Buddha. And we are very fortunate to have this, the Buddha's teaching, for us. So next. So the door of deathlessness open to all who see and hear. So after the enlightenment of the Buddha, so the Buddha sees that there are potential for people who have some wisdom to listen to the Dhamma, and they will be able to understand the profound Dhamma that leads to the freedom from the cycle of samsara. Because all of us seek to find peace, all of us seek for freedom. This is especially even during our pandemic time, right? So this is even more rare, but then the Buddha, opened the doors of deathlessness to all who see and hear. Next. So the Buddha, when he first preached, he first teach, this is also very rare that people listen to the Dhamma, means the discovery of the true Dhamma. So the Buddha mentioned, and this is the first sermon that the Buddha teach, and it's a very important sermon, and so very rare during his time, as he found and discovered, he is very clear, of how the Dhamma can lead to the end of samsara. So, of course, the Buddha, in his enlightenment, he has so much vast knowledge over so many things. But the Buddha actually say in one time, the monks asked him, of all the things that he knows, how the Buddha actually select, what is important to be to teach, and the Buddha gave a simile in the Simsapa forest. The Buddha picked up a leaf, in his hand, the dry leaf, and asked the monk, which one more, the leaves in the hand or the leaves in the jungle? And the bhikkhus answered that, of course, the leaves in the jungle is more. And the Buddha said, of all the knowledge that he knows, it's just like the whole jungle, but the leaf in his hand, it is the one that is most important. So although he knows a lot, he didn't teach all because it doesn't conduce to the final freedom from the cycle of samsara. But the one that in his hand, which is important, and that is enough if we can be able to learn, understand, and practice, and that itself can lead to Nibbana. So he set in motion the rare wheel of Dhamma. And the first thing that the Buddha teaches is that the Buddha said, avoid two extremes. One is the extremes of indulgence in sensual pleasure, which, commoners always do. We seek for sensual pleasure. Just now I've shown you some photos, and that a lot of us seek for those things, yeah, and we think that will bring happiness in life, but it is not, yeah. So when we are indulged, now people indulge in seeing probably a lot of YouTubes or a lot of movies and a lot of things, yeah, online conveniently to entice their sensual pleasure. So if too much of it means indulge in it, too much of it, it also bring suffering. Yeah, the Buddha said when we are we indulge in all this sensual pleasure too much, then it actually leads to what kind of quality? The Buddha said it's very low quality, and then there's unprofitable. It brings pain, it brings suffering. Right. Second extreme is addiction to self-torture. So in the past we say self-mortification. When people try to find truth, they torture their body, yeah, by lying on the nails or standing on one leg, or having that kind of wrong belief to find peace or heaven. They eat like a cow or like a dog, and there are many kinds of belief system, yeah, that people have. So in our time, you can see addiction to self-torture is that even though sometimes the body is so tired that due to whether greed or whether due to aversion, that a person torture the body and make the body sick and then unprofitable and suffering the pain. And so the Buddha advises the first thing that we should do, yeah, when we talk about Dhamma, it's not about something very remote or something like we think very ancient. No, it's something very near to us. It's in our life. So these are the two things the Buddha said. First, avoid two extremes. One is indulgence in sense pleasure. Second is addiction to self-torture. So this can lead to the Dhamma that we are going to explore. Yeah. So the first thing that in life we have to avoid these two extremes, and there are more, of course, example, but suffice enough to know that some of the example. So in this way that we must know when you talk about sense pleasure or self-torture, we must know what it is. Yeah. The gratification of it, the Buddha said, and the danger of it, and the escape of it. So we cannot be ignorant about these things, but we must know what it is. Yes, of course, all things will give you some gratification, the Buddha said, and then, but you must also know what is the danger. And not only you know the danger, but you must know the escape. And then after that, of course, you must escape from it. Then only you are safe, right? Next. So through this, then the Buddha said he realized the middle path. This middle path will give vision, knowledge, calm, insight, perfect enlightenment, and nibbana. So what is this middle path? It's none other than the Noble Eightfold Path. Not any path, yeah. In life, in our time, we are very confused, yeah. Don't know which path to go, yeah. Whether to keep ourselves like this, or to go out, or to eat in a different way, or to practice in different way, or to have vaccine, or to have that and this and everything. Yeah. So the important thing is, the Buddha said, very important for us to walk the Noble Eightfold Path. Yeah. So the first is, what is this Noble Eightfold Path? Next. So in simple form, yeah, most of us, we think that we already knew. Right understanding, right thought, yeah. So we have to live with it, not just know or just have the information. When we say right understanding, understand about what, yeah. So understand, yeah, the Four Noble Truths. Just like just how I mentioned, the Buddha said, you do not have to find all the rare things in the world, in the jungle, but suffice with the one handful of important vital things that needs to be done. So the first is to have right understanding. So what is right understanding? Is, of course, the understanding or the right view of what it is, the Four Noble Truths. I will explain later a bit more detail on Four Noble Truths. And also, of course, to understand the dependent origination, how ignorance condition karma formation, and etc. The second thing is by having right understanding. That's why the Buddha said, then you will condition your right thought. The thought of renunciation, not attaching or craving towards sensual pleasure, and also the right thought of loving kindness, goodwill towards oneself and towards others. Third, of course, non-cruelty, compassion to lessen our suffering and to lessen other people's suffering. Okay, next. We should also practice the morality, the way of principles of life, the 5 precepts, example, with right speech, speech that helps, to bring about harmony, is pleasant and truthful, and is also bringing benefits. So indeed, most of the time, the Buddha say when we want to speak, it's always speak the Dhamma. If not, then maintain noble silence, and that helps indeed, to bring harmony to a lot. Like in the Chinese wording, they say, 病从口入 means a lot of sickness come through mouth, as we know, and then war comes from the mouth too. Sickness come through the mouth. We put in whatever that is not healthy, then of course we'll get sick. But war comes from the mouth too. When the mouth speak out something which is unwholesome, then it creates war, conflict, not only in the world, in the family, within ourselves. Because that karmic effect, the cause and effect of unwholesomeness, will bring suffering, guilt, remorse, and blame, and all those things. So the next one is when we have right speech, naturally it conditions our bodily action. So if we have truthful speech, beneficial speech, harmonious speech, pleasant speech, then our bodily action also will be very kind bodily action. But if we have the wrongful speech, then the bodily action becomes harsh, and can be violent, can be dangerous. So bodily actions too, when there is the right bodily action, means the Buddha said, the bodily action that is of non-killing, non-harming, and then non-taking what is not ours, or stealing, and also we will not commit any sexual misconduct. And so these are the right bodily actions that one can keep and practice. It's the principles of life. And then next is the right livelihood. So when we have right condition or right bodily actions, then we also will lead a life, or we earn money, through righteous means, to righteous bodily conduct, so that whatever that we earn, will bring happiness to us. It doesn't bring any guilt to us or blame, but whatever we earn through righteous actions, then it will bring about the success, of our career, of our earning, so that we'll be happy, and through the use of our money, we can take care of ourselves, our family, and our friends, relatives. Even we can offer for the support of the government, and also the offerings to devas, and also in memory of our departed ones. So the right livelihood is very important. The Buddha said 5 things that we should avoid. The kind of livelihood that kills, like slaughterhouse, or that trade human beings, or sell poisons, or weapons, or drugs. So these are the things that we need to avoid. And next, also the cultivation of mind. Cultivation of mind. Next slide. Cultivating, by the middle path. So how should we cultivate? And most of the time, this rare part of the practice on the Buddha's teaching have to be understood, that it is so important, Normally, yeah, when during the Buddha's time, yeah, how there are so many arahants, yeah. So we can see that when they meet the Buddha, they ask for a meditation object, yeah, most of them, and then after that they go and cultivate their mind. So this part is so important that we should emphasize in our practice. There is right effort, right mindfulness, right samadhi. So right effort is where, you know, there are 4 types of right effort. One, of course, we prevent those unreasoned, unwholesome thoughts, yeah, or states of mind from arising. Yeah. The next one, when the unwholesome, yeah, when it's the state arising in our mind, then we should make effort to abandon them. And then next, we should also yeah, develop and initiate those unarisen wholesome thoughts or wholesome states in mind. So we must make effort to develop them. And for those we already have the good states of mind, wholesome state, we make effort, yeah, to continue to increase, maintain, increase, and to perfect them. So these are right effort. So 4 types of right effort, and we must always continuously to put, yeah, the right effort, exert, yeah, arouse our energy, exert our mind, and strive on, yeah, until one day we are delivered from this cycle of suffering. With this, then it will condition our right mindfulness as we put the effort. So our mind will have the yoniso manasikara, meaning careful or wise attention, yeah, in what is happening within us and without us, yeah, to our body and mind contemplation. Then the 4 foundation of mindfulness. Then this will be a very important path. The Buddha said, yeah, it's a very direct path. When we make good use of this cultivation, it leads us to finally samadhi. So samadhi is a state where a person develop the mind, and the mind is developed, purified to the most refined state, that you start to understand about the what is the body and the mind and the state of well-being, yeah, true well-being. There are 2 kinds of pleasure, the Buddha say. One is the worldly pleasure, one is the pleasure that comes through, yeah, the purification of mind. And that kind of pleasure, the Buddha say, you can actually develop because it doesn't harm you. It leads you to the purity of the mind, and it's a foundation for you to go into deep insight, to realize the the dhamma, the deep dhamma that leads to the cessation, yeah, of or relinquishment of all things, yeah, and that is where it cools off and attain nibbana. So it's so important that this noble eightfold path, when we practice, and it will culminate in right wisdom and right liberation. Next. So this is a very rare dhamma, yeah. We think it's a very common, yeah, but it's a very rare dhamma because why? Because to really practice it, to know what it is, yeah, what is the cause of it, the end of it, and the way to end suffering. This is the dhamma that the Buddha said, the handful of dhamma, yeah, that so important for us to master it, yeah. So the Buddha said, when you walk that path, when you see the dhamma, means when you see the truth, you will see the Buddha. So the Buddha appearance is not in just what we normally do. Yeah, we go to the temple, we see the Buddha image. Yeah, so even the image itself, we see that they are smiling, serene, contemplative. Hopefully, that plants a very good, deep images in your mind that, you know, we need to seek, or we need a good teacher, a teacher who has found the way. That is the Buddha. And the Dhamma that he taught, which is very rare. We think that maybe it's common, but it's truly very rare. And this Dhamma is only 2,565 years discovered. Yeah. And the Buddha said, when you see the Dhamma, you will see the Buddha. When you see the Buddha, you see the Dhamma. So this is how people come in contact with the Buddha's teaching. Yeah. Next. So when we see the Dhamma, yeah, and the Buddha taught during his first sermon, yeah, the Buddha see clear in 3 aspects, in 12 ways, the 4 noble truths. Yeah. So when we say right understanding, we are seeing the 4 noble truths in 3 aspects in 12 ways. What is it? First, you must know what is suffering. Yeah, so we say in a common way, birth is suffering, aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering. Not getting what we want is suffering. To be separated from our loved ones is suffering. To associate with one unloved is suffering. Yeah, in short, the Buddha said, the grasping of the 5 aggregates is suffering. So when we define suffering, we must know what it is. Then the Buddha said, you ought to be understood. This suffering, noble truth of suffering, ought to be understood. It's not just say, suffering, but ought to be understood what it is, how it comes about, how to end it, the way to end it. So first we must know, understand what it is, and then next, has been understood means you must make effort to understand it, and finally understood it. So without this, then of course you will go around the cycle of the unsatisfactoriness, struggle, and suffering. Next, number 2, noble truth number 2 is the cause of suffering. What is the cause of suffering or origin of suffering? In short, the Buddha said, is craving for sensual pleasure. It is the cause of suffering. Craving for becoming is also suffering. Next, craving for non-becoming means when they cannot get, then they think suicide is the alternative. But that is also not true, right? So why suffering or why unsatisfactoriness is because we have craving. And what do we crave for? Sensual pleasure, becoming, and non-becoming. So this, the Buddha said, ought to be eradicated. Means we must also know, having known what it is, the cause, we must also have the thought, that this must be eradicated. Because why? If the cause is there, then of course the suffering will be there, the effect will be there. Okay. So, and then finally, to totally eradicate it means after we know, then we know should be done, and then we get it done. Right. Third, end of suffering, the Buddha said, so we must also know what is the noble truth, the end, the cessation of suffering. So ought to be realized, and also has been realized, means we know there's an end to suffering. One, the Buddha has shown us the way. There's an end to suffering. So not only the Buddha talks about what is suffering, but the Buddha tells us there's an end to suffering. So wake up, there's an end to suffering. And this end of suffering ought to be realized, and we must put it into action that, finally we realize it, right? And the fourth noble truth is path that ends suffering ought to be developed. So this is the Noble Eightfold Path. So what it is, the path is the Noble Eightfold Path. Because this Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha already prescribed to us that this is the way, the handful way, the vital way, the essence to end suffering. So it ought to be developed. So you must develop, and from here at the end, you finally develop them. So when you complete this 4, then of course liberation is the friction for all these actions that you have done, right? So you must be clear in these 3 aspects and the 12 ways of how the noble truth can be comprehended. Next. So happy, indeed, is the appearance of Buddha. Happy is the teaching of the sublime Dhamma. And through this teaching, that's why the Buddha started the Sangha. So happy is the unity of the Sangha, and happy is the discipline of the united ones. Discipline in a way to walk the way, the Dhamma path to liberation. Next. So the Buddha said, one who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha sees with right knowledge, not tainted knowledge, not any knowledge. So one who has gone for refuge to the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha sees with right knowledge the 4 noble truths. Next slide. Suffering, the cause of suffering, cessation of suffering, the Noble Eightfold Path that leads to cessation of suffering. So this is so timely for us as Buddhists or those who are yet to come into the Dhamma, to see that what truly is rare in the world. These are very rare for us, and it's very timely for us to use it this time. It's not about having suffering, fear, and everything, and then we sink into that suffering. No, there's a way out. A way to end that suffering, but the way is the Noble Eightfold Path. So we seek within to walk the way. Next. So by seeking such a refuge, our be released from all sorrow. So this is a photo where the Bodhgaya, where the place where the Buddha attained enlightenment. So we must have confidence in the enlightenment of the Buddha and the Dhamma that he preaches, and in a way that we make the good practice, so that we will be able to fulfill our seeking, for peace and freedom. Next. So next, just now I mentioned there are 8 rare things. Third is rare to be born as a human. Okay. Fourth, a rare opportunity for spirituality. Okay. Next. So we think that to be born as human, we normally take it for granted, But actually, the Buddha said, do you know that it's so rare for you to be born as a human? So just for example, the Buddha said, which one more, born in the sea or born on land? We can see that born in the sea is lesser. Born in the sea is more. The sea are 2/3 of the earth, and even the amoeba is a being, So born in the sea is more, Creatures that born in the sea are more than on land. But born on land, again, the Buddha asked, which one more, human or other creatures? We can see every day ticking, the human that are born in the world now is 7.8 billion. But those are born with, as other creatures, we can see there are even more and more than us, Just talk about ants or mosquitoes or, any kinds of insects. They are more than us. So, but, less are born as human. How rare it is, the Buddha said, he gave an example, the blind sea turtle, in Chigala Sutta. If 100 years once they surface onto the ocean to take a breath, and the head, when they pop up to take the breath, and then their head is actually in the ring of, let's say, in the past example, they use a yoke with a hole, and suddenly this turtle comes up, and in the sea ocean, the wind blows here and there to the north, west, east, and south, and that yoke will be swinging around, tossing around, and suddenly this turtle came up, blind turtle, and then the head pop up and it's in the hole of this yoke. Assuming you throw a swimming tube, a swimming tube that is tossing around in the sea ocean, and one day this turtle at that time, just that time, comes up, and the head is actually in the ring of the swimming tube. How would that be possible? What is the probability? So the Buddha says is very, very rare, right? The Buddha asked the bhikkhu, and the bhikkhu is just very, very rare. So this is how rare it is to be born as a human. But we used to take it for granted, right? So we have to understand this human life is so important, because as a human, the word manusya means we can develop our mind. So this is the opportunity that we can fortunate to this. Next. But we also have to understand rare is a human life. The lifespan that we have. So do you know that actually in the world there are more than 10,000 diseases, and all the disease can be a very rare disease. Now we are having a rare pandemic, rare disease. It's a kind of also a rareness, but this is where again the Buddha says rare or difficult indeed is the life of a human. So we have a human span of life. We are not forever and ever, and we have to ground ourselves to understand this. How rare it is to be born as a human, how rare it is to live as a human. So for your information, in 1950, averagely, people only live up to about 50 years in the world. averagely, I mean, some live longer, shorter, yeah. But 90-50 is not long from now, you know. People live around 50 years old, yeah. And then now, as 2020, yeah, 2021 now, this is 2020 record, yeah, UN population division, yeah, life expectancy. So the world averagely now 73.2, yeah, their age, yeah, lifespan. Female 75.6, male 70.8. Then I took a few points. Singapore, yeah, they have 84.7 averagely, female 86.2, male 82.1. Malaysia, we have averagely 76.6, female 78.8, male 74.7. Pakistan 67.8 averagely, female 68.9, male 66.7. Nigeria in Middle Africa, their average age is about, you know, their lifespan 55.7, female 56.7, male 54.8. So all in all, we know that our lifespan actually is very rare. We only exist in this world for a short time. And in Malaysia, I think we are quite lucky in a way that, you know, 70 plus. But do you notice that actually female have a longer life than male? Yeah. And then that is one thing. And secondly, I think we need to contemplate now. If we are at a certain age now, do you think that we have a lot of time? So it's indeed very rare, yeah, that we have this lifespan. So we must make good use of our time to do what is necessary and what is important in life. So minus all our sleep and eat and everything, we indeed have a very short time. And the Buddha said, wake up, you know, be awakened, yeah, to the reality of our life, and so that we are able to really find true peace and freedom from our entanglement in the entanglement, so that we can free ourselves from this bondage, from this suffering, from all the fear, worries, and all the unnecessary, yeah? So that we can do our way, the best to practice the Dhamma, to find that true supreme security from bondage. Next. You also have to know that in life, yeah, abortion is in the million. For the first 5 months of this year, 16.3 million beings are aborted from become a human. Every day, around 25,000 people die of hunger. Every year, more than 56 million people die. Yeah, next. Today, more than 3.4 million die due to pandemic. But every year, without fail, 56 million people die. But maybe we do not know. But today, 3.5 million, yeah, more than 3.5 million died due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But 7.8 billion people in fear, stress, sorrow, despair. So we have to contemplate, yeah. Comparing my body with another body as it actually is, I'm not free from such fate. Next. So rare opportunity, yeah, for spirituality. So you have to contemplate being myself subject to birth, aging, sickness, death, sorrow, and pains, corruptions. Yeah. So all these have to be realized that we too are not free from the danger. So it is a very rare opportunity actually for spirituality. Because why? The Buddha say, when one is born in hell realm, animal realm, ghost realm, no way for spirituality. Even when one is born in a Deva realm, in a long life Deva realm, they also will miss the opportunity. Then, if one is born in a remote places with no access, no teacher of Dhamma can go, then they are also denied the opportunity for spirituality. When one is born with thick wrong view, also they can't receive the Dhamma. And when one is born with mental handicap or dullness, yeah, for example, when young, some people can born, yeah, autistic or, you know, or sometimes mental problems or handicap, or sometimes Alzheimer, dementia. So all this, is difficult to embrace the Dhamma. And if one is born in a period where there's no Buddha Dhamma, now we know that when there's no Buddha Dhamma, how do we know the way to liberation? So we are very fortunate again. This rare opportunity that we have, we must make good use of it. We must make time for it, and we must cultivate so they'll be able to realize the way out of samsara. Next. So that's why the Buddha said, just like the turtle, sea turtle, it's a sheer coincidence that one obtains the human state. It's likewise a sheer coincidence that a Tathagata, means the Buddha, worthy and rightly self-awakened, arises in the world. It's likewise a sheer coincidence that a doctrine and discipline expounded by a Tathagata appears in the world. Now, this human state has been obtained, means we all obtain this human state. The Tathagata, worthy and rightly self-awakened, has arisen in the world. A doctrine and discipline expounded by a Tathagata appears in the world. Therefore, your duty is to understand this is suffering, to understand the suffering, to eradicate the cause of suffering, to realize end of suffering, and to develop the path that leads to the cessation of suffering. So your duty is cultivating the path of practice leading to the cessation of suffering. Next. So follow the path to freedom, the Buddha in Dhammapada 193 also said, hard to find is a man of great wisdom. Such a man is not born everywhere. Where such a wise man is born, that family thrives happily. So it's so important to contemplate. The Buddha also said, the noblest of men are not born in any particular family, because why? They went forth to search for that final truth. But if there's a man that born wise in the family, you will see that the family thrives happily. Next. Sadhu, 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 for all the participation and listening to the Dhamma. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Ayah, for the very interesting, educational, and insightful talk this morning. With so many beautiful and educational illustration of so many rare, beautiful species of nature, as well as other illustration of the Buddha Dhamma. It's a very interesting talk. Now it is a time for Q&A. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, do you have any question? Can we have the first question? From Sister Eileen. Venerable, I would like to inquire the gravity of karma formation. Does the ignorance of the ignorant act or mind is a lesser karma, bad or good, than those who know the Dhamma, the Buddha teaching, but still doing it, bad or good?
All right. So you're saying when a person is ignorant, when they do unwholesome deeds, do they experience less the karmic impact or karmic effect, than those who know the Dhamma and still doing it? So my answer to you is that actually both are ignorant. Okay, we can name ourselves Buddhists. We think we know the Dhamma, but the knowing, the word knowing, is quite special during the Buddha's time. When they say knowledge, means you know inside and out, and you practice it. Now we have a lot of information, tons of information about the Dhamma, but we don't practice it, and therefore we do not experience the good result of it. So either or, we say both are ignorant. To what extent of ignorance? One who do not know do the mistake also. is also same. Yeah, the cause and effect you cannot run. For example, ignorant, we say ignorant person lie. Okay, lie to somebody. What do you think is the impact of lying? Would that be lesser than a person who also hear before and know before that lying is bad, and then lie? So the impact is the same. Yeah, when you lie, the nature of karma is when a person lie, the conscience of the fear of being known that they do unwholesome act is there already. Yeah, they feel guilty. Yeah, they also feel remorse if the lying cause even more suffering in different forms to another person. Yeah, and so if a person who know the Dhamma and they lie, they also experience the same thing. Firstly, they also have fear that their lie one day will be discovered. They also feel guilty, about it. So whether a person know or do not know, if a person is ignorant, meaning because why? Ignorant, normally we say ignorant of the Four Noble Truths. What cause, what suffering is, what is the cause of it, and they still do it, then of course they will get the unwholesome karma, means unwholesome effect of their wrongdoing. But ignorant, we also say because why? They're ignorant because they always think that this body, is self, this body is self, and this body is equal to self. So because of that ignorant thinking or deluded with that idea, that's why they commit a lot of wrongdoings. So whether a person, we say, do not know about Dhamma or know about Dhamma, but of course, just having information is not sufficient. Yeah, that's why the Buddha said, learning without practice is of no use. Meaning you have information about it, but you don't practice it, then of course you suffer the same impact. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ayah. I think it's more because of the intention rather than whether ignorant or not ignorant about what to be done. We go for next question. Ayah, illustration just now of a rare human beings with two heads in one body, one human body with two hands and two legs. Is this type of birth due to past karma? And what kind of past karma can possibly cause this type of rebirth?
All right. In the first place, I'm not like a Buddha. I haven't got the idea of how, seeing directly how being born from one life to another life and actions that they have. But I think suffice enough. During the Buddha's time, there's a story about most of this karmic impact is because they are very attached to each other, right? So, for example, during the Buddha's time, they are attached to each other with whatever reason it is. But this story is, I still remember. The Buddha, when this one life in the Jataka, he was born as a twin, the double-head parrot also, double-head parrot. And apparently, story goes one of the head actually is the Bodhisattva. The other head is actually the Devadatta. So because of an earlier incident of their past karma, as we know that how the story comes is not only that life, but before that they were merchants. And because due to one incident where the Bodhisattva, he is a genuine merchant. He actually also go around to sell his item. And so this Devadatta, at that time also a merchant, and both of them agree that, if I go to this village, I go to the right side of the road, you go to the left side of the road. When I finish my side and you finish your side, then we can cross to each other's side, okay? So that everybody makes some living, So they agree. But then Devadatta was cunning, So one day, an old lady want to buy something, but poor lady, no money, and with grandchildren. So they have a very old bowl covered with a lot of dust and all the ash. But it's actually a gold bowl. And Devadatta knew, but he wants to actually squander the whole thing and giving the old lady just a bangle. And then when they asked for the bangle to exchange with the bowl, he scolded the old lady that, such a dirty things and worthless things, you want to exchange with me. And then he pretended, making a show that, it's worthless. So then he left and thinking after this, he will come back and say, never mind lie, since you want to exchange, I will give you, and then take the bowl without giving the actual exchange. So, but anyway, after that, Bodhisattva went over, and the old lady again, presented the old bowl and to the Bodhisattva, and the Bodhisattva looked at the bowl and scratched and see, wow, it's a real gold, And the Bodhisattva said, oh, Grand Auntie, I only have such money, and I only can change for you this much, but also leave a little bit of money for me to take the boat back home. Yeah, the rest of the things I have, I give all to you. Is it okay? Then she said, okay. Yeah, so then they exchanged, and then so they went off. So then, but Devadatta came back to to try to ask the grandma again. Never mind, I will exchange to you. But then the grandma told, the grand auntie told him that we have already sold off. You liar, you cheat us, Then Devadatta get very angry and, asked for where the direction of Bodhisattva. And he chased after to the jetty. And so the Bodhisattva already took a boat, on the way to the other side. So he was shouted angrily, and then after he died. Yeah? Died. And then he died. In his mind, he was so angry that he will go after the Bodhisattva from life to life. Yeah? So we know that one of the life, they were born as a parrot with 2 heads. Yeah? That's why I show you, it's real one. Last time maybe we think it's unreal, but now we know that it's real. So a parrot with 2 heads. So one head is actually the Bodhisattva. One head is the Devadatta. And this Devadatta is always very angry with the Buddha. Everything that the Buddha do is the other head do must report to him. Yeah. And one day I think the Bodhisattva ate something, and Devadatta was sleeping. Okay, the other head was sleeping, and one head is eating. Okay, Bodhisattva was eating, then Devadatta was sleeping. So when he woke up, as usual, he's very suspicious. He will ask the Bodhisattva, "What do you do?" The Bodhisattva said, "Oh, I ate something." So he was very angry. He said, "Why don't you wait for me? Why you eat without telling me?" And he was very angry, and because he was so angry, raged with anger, then he ate something poisonous. Okay, then one stomach. So die lah. So life to life, he has been going after the Bodhisattva. Even during the Buddha's time, we know that he still go after the Buddha, right? Ignorantly, right? And that karma that they have in the past, still continue. But the Buddha choose, yeah. So that's why for liberation, one have to choose the path to walk. Yeah. Then this is how the Buddha free himself from the entanglement of samsara. But Devadatta continue to do so. Yeah. So there's a karmic link. Normally it's attachment. Yeah. And this is how birth take place, and twins take place too. Yeah. And they are quite similar sometimes. Character, similar thinking. They have probably similar craving, yeah, and those kind of similar ignorance sometimes. But anyway, again, like I said, as the Buddha said, we need to be wise. We need to choose, the path, so that we will be able to disentangle from this cycle of birth and death again and again. Right? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ayah, for the very profound and educational answer. Due to the constraint of time, we will have just one more question, last question from Brother David. I once read something like this: when the body is sick, do not let the mind be sick too. Please explain. Thank you.
Right. So normally, this is a very important contemplation, and it's good for all, even during this pandemic. So we know that the body, the Buddha said, there are 2 kinds of arrow that can make us feel really sick and painful, and suffer. So one is the arrow of the body, and the other one is arrow of the mind. So if we allow the arrow to shoot into our body, then of course we feel very painful, right? But if we do not allow the arrow to shoot into our mind, then there's only one suffering, not 2. So when the body is sick, For example, I share with you one incident. I had my teacher. She was down with high blood pressure and diabetic. Yeah. So I went to her and she's a Sri Lankan, don't speak much English. And I told her, I see her and I feel like, a bit sorry, aging, then we have to suffer from bodily aches and everything. So I feel a bit sorry for her. And so I just talk to her. I say in Sri Lanka, I say, body, kaya, body. Amarui, I say, amarui means in Sri Lanka means difficult. Body is difficult. I just say to her, and then as usual, she's very serene, smiling, although, her high blood pressure and all those things. She was lying down and she looked at me. She said, she don't know much English, but that day she mentioned, she said, body is sick, mind no sick. He said, who is sick? At that time, I was like, wow, half enlightened already, it's such a short answer. Body sick, mind no sick, she said. Who is sick? So when body is sick, yes, we address it as, the body is experiencing some pain. But we can choose not to think of the pain as this is my pain. So when we think in terms of I, my mind, then we even get more sick and more pain, more suffering. But we know that body is pain, but mind, we can choose not to be in pain. Yeah, to understand the condition of it and to know that sickness or, pain is also impermanent. Yeah. And we also can contemplate in different ways, even like bringing our mind back to our breath, in breath and our breath, to bring our mind to the present. So the body won't get so painful and sick. Yeah. Or you can even do chanting, to recall to mind about the Buddha, how the Buddha, stand 6 years of, difficult cultivation, and he endures patient endurance, and forbearance, and finally he is able to overcome the sickness of the body, sickness of the mind, and what he called deathless. Yeah. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for Aya. Very interesting, educational, and enlightening Dharma talk this morning, and also for the very profound answers to our questions. Actually, there are some more questions. There's one asking from us, what they call the repeat of 7 to 8 rare things to come. But because of time constraint, I think we will arrange to send the answer to this sister and Ling. Yeah. Once again, thank you so much, Aya. And on behalf of the devotees, we convey our heartfelt thanks and gratitude to Aya Sumangala. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Ayah Sumangala, for the Q&A session and the Dharma talk. It has been very interesting during this session. Brothers and sisters in the Dharma, many of you this morning have participated in the Sunday Buddha Puja service and listening to Venerable's Dharma talk. With the merits accrued, let us invite Venerable Sumangala to lead us in the dedication of merits to all sentient beings, families, relatives, friends, and to the departed ones. May they rejoice in these merits. And also to those who have been affected by the COVID-19. May they have a quick recovery, free from suffering, and be well and happy. Ayah?
Right, let us now compose our mind with all the Dhamma and with all our good practice, and remembering the Buddha, great teacher, and the Dhamma, the supreme Dhamma that leads to the freedom from the cycle of samsara. And with all the good merits that we have done today, with a sincere heart, by listening to the Dhamma, and to determine to practice them well, and to share it with others. With all this good merit, may now share this merit with all. Patidana, transference of merits. Akasatta cha bhummata devanaga mahitnika punyang tanganumoditva cirang rakantu lokasasanang Akasatta cha bhummata devanaga mahitnika punyang tanganumoditva cirang rakantu desanang Akasatta cha bhummata devanaga mahittika punyang tanganumoditva cirang rakantu mamparanti etawata ca ammehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe dewa sabbe satta sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Patidana, transference of marriage to departed relatives. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Punyanumodana, sharing of marriage. Imang no punya bagang mata pitu nancha acharya nancha sabba satta nancha sabba mitta nancha sabba nyati nancha sabba peta nancha sabba devata nancha bhajema. Imang no punya bagang sabba sattanang dema sabbe satta sukhita hontu. Patana, aspirations. Imina punya kammena Mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patiya. Idang me punyang asava kaya vahang hotu. Idang me punyang nibbana sapachayo hotu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank Venerable Sumangala. Thank you very much to be with us this morning's Sunday Buddha Puja service and the Dhamma talk. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, please help me to thank Venerable Sumangala. Thank you very much to the organizing team. Brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, before we end, let us pay homage to the Puja. Buddhang pujemi, Dhammang pujemi, Sanghang pujemi. To the devotees, thank you very much for participating. Thank you for giving us very kind words of feedback. Those who have joined us early in the morning for the Voices of Bloom, listening to the beautiful music, the Buddhist music. Those who have stayed until to the transference of and sharing of merits. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. We have come to the end of this 46th online Sunday Buddha Puja service. Please visit us again next week on the 6th of June, Sunday morning, to participate. You may refer to the SJBA Facebook for the posters with the information. With the spite of COVID-19 pandemic, remember to stay safe, stay home. May you and family be safe, well, happy, and peaceful always. Suki Hontu, Sabe, Sata, Sukita Hontu.
Bahung sahan semabhinim mitesayudantang ngirimi kelang uditegora sasene marang dana di dhamma vidina